teeth, ugly, bug-eyed rabbit cat, ugly piece of shit. You are getting knocked the fuck.
And he's all right, Tyson. I think he's all right.
Didn't sound like he was saying all right, sir.
No.
Tyson Fury wasted no time tearing into Jake Paul after that shocking slap at the face-off. The Gypsy King made it clear that disrespecting Anthony Joshua like that was not only childish but outright embarrassing, showing the world Jake Paul is out of his depth.
Bitch pussy boy, running, hiding.
Anthony Joshua's anger was clear the moment Jake Paul pushed him during the face-off. You could see the fire in Anthony Joshua's eyes. The kind of intensity that makes Tyson Fury and even the skeptics admit that Jake Paul simply can't win when facing a champion operating on another level. This wasn't just a push. It was a moment showing Anthony Joshua is on another level and Jake Paul is way out of his depth.
I don't need to address you, bro. I don't need to address you, bro.
The face-off chaos was shocking as Jake Paul crossed the line with an open hand slap while Anthony Joshua remained composed yet visibly irritated. Even though some pushing is expected, Anthony Joshua's presence demanded respect. Security struggled to control the scene, but it was clear Jake Paul's antics backfired, only highlighting that Anthony Joshua operates on another level and has the power to humble anyone foolish enough to test him in such a scenario.
Mind fighters pushing and shoving probably shouldn't be slapping each other at the face-off. Security did a pretty good job of corralling it while they could, but I thought it was just
Eddie Hearn points out that Anthony Joshua's temper naturally rises when provoked face-to-face. And that's exactly what happened when Jake Paul pushed too far. The intensity of the situation fuels Anthony Joshua, making it clear that Jake Paul's antics have only motivated him to bring the fight with full force, showing that Joshua thrives under pressure and is ready to turn any disrespect into a lesson for fake Paul in the ring.
When you're getting poked like that in a face-to-face, you know, after a while the temper goes, and it's good. You know, I think it's going to be that kind of fight.
Johnny Nelson highlights how Jake Paul's slap was reckless and completely unacceptable on fight morning. Anthony Joshua now steps into a scenario where discipline and danger collide, and Nelson explains the board is in a difficult position. Joshua's calm but focused preparation contrasts with Paul's chaos, proving that Anthony Joshua's level of professionalism and experience puts him on another level. Ready to exploit Jake Paul's mistakes without hesitation in the ring.
To make the way how he's done it, you know, on the morning of a fight, it's just wrong. It's dangerous, and the board are now in a situation where they think shit. So I don't know how they're going to.
Duke McKenzie thinks Jake Paul's antics are clever entertainment, but Anthony Joshua sees it differently. The ring is not a stage for jokes, and Joshua's focus and power prove he takes this seriously. McKenzie's perspective on audience engagement contrasts sharply with Anthony Joshua's world-class preparation and skill, showing that Paul may entertain the crowd, but Joshua's readiness and professionalism are what truly dictate the fight's outcome. Fake Paul is learning the hard way that talent cannot be replaced by theatrics. Adam Catterall notes that opinions are divided over Jake Paul's slap, calling it polarizing drama. Anthony Joshua, however, remains completely unaffected by the theatrics, using the moment to sharpen his focus. While the crowd debates the spectacle, Joshua's strategy is clear and methodical, turning any distractions into fuel. This is exactly why Anthony Joshua operates on another level, demonstrating poise, strength, and an unwavering mentality that leaves Jake Paul exposed and unprepared for what's coming inside the ring.
I do feel it's maybe what the sport doesn't need, and yet many people are saying, no, it's great, you watch
Everyone
it.
that
Everybody
fight day
wants
is
to go
unpredictable and scripts often go out the window. But Anthony Joshua thrives in these moments. Unlike Jake Paul, whose antics rely on surprise and theatrics, Joshua is adaptable, disciplined, and mentally strong. This unpredictability only magnifies Joshua's advantage because when the real fight begins, his skill, timing, and experience dictate the outcome while Paul is left scrambling, showing that Anthony Joshua is a fighter who delivers results when it matters most.
Going to happen because it's different on that day than any other day. It just sort of scripts go.
Roy Jones Jr. observes that Anthony Joshua's energy remains calm and serious even in the face of Jake Paul's provocation. While Paul relies on theatrics and surprise tactics, Joshua maintains poise and composure, showing his world-class mentality. His calm presence throughout the week underscores why he is on another level, prepared to capitalize on any mistake Paul makes. Joshua's professionalism and focus contrast sharply with Paul's impulsive behavior, signaling that the fight will be controlled by the fighter with true skill and strategy.
Going through the motion, he's serious about it, so I liked it.
Yeah, like his energy was like very calming throughout the week.
Yes, it was.
Tony Bellew calls out the spectacle created by Jake Paul and insists this is more circus than sport. Anthony Joshua, however, treats it entirely differently. His focus, discipline, and preparation demonstrate the true essence of boxing. While the world watches the drama unfold, Joshua's skill and composure overshadow Paul's theatrics, proving that inside the ring, it is talent, power, and mental strength that dominate. Fake Paul can try to create chaos, but Anthony Joshua remains the epitome of a professional fighter on another level entirely.
It's not that it's bad, it's frightening. But listen, this isn't boxing as a sport, this is the circus.
Dave Coldwell explains that Jake Paul's slap was clearly premeditated, removing any element of surprise. Anthony Joshua's response is measured and calculated, showing why he operates on a completely different level. While Paul's actions are impulsive and risky, Joshua's professionalism, power, and strategy highlight his dominance. Coldwell acknowledges the comedy. But in the ring, there is nothing funny for Paul. Joshua will capitalize on the smallest mistake, and this premeditation only exposes Paul's lack of respect for the craft, giving Joshua the ultimate mental advantage.
At the time, you're thinking it's like reaction. So no, it's not, because he premeditates everything, and it was funny, but I don't agree with
Johnny Nelson points out that Jake Paul deliberately chose to play the villain, but Anthony Joshua has faced adversity and disrespect before. Joshua's history of handling pressure in the pro ranks shows that Paul's theatrics will not intimidate him. Nelson recognizes Joshua's experience and ability to stay composed. Playing the villain might generate clicks for Paul, but inside the ring, Joshua's skill, power, and championship mentality are overwhelming. Fake Paul's antics cannot match Anthony Joshua's preparation, professionalism, and fight IQ, proving that the real story is Joshua dominating both mentally and physically.
Yeah, it was wrong. He put his hands on him, and so it was wrong. But you know what? He's saying I'm going to play the villain. You know, being the prop, done everything right.
2K McKenzie emphasizes the danger Jake Paul faces stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua. This is not just hype. Joshua's size, power, and technical ability place Paul at immense risk. While Paul thrives on spectacle, Joshua thrives in the craft itself. McKenzie reiterates that this is a genuine threat, not a publicity stunt. Anthony Joshua's calm confidence and experience make him a precise and dangerous heavyweight. The gap between a trained professional and a social media fighter becomes brutally clear. And anyone watching knows the potential for disaster is real for Fake Paul.
Jake Paul is in danger, serious danger. I know you've heard it all before, but I could just reiterate what everybody else is saying. He's in serious danger of being seriously.
Paul Smith finds humor in Jake Paul's slap, calling it poetic and funny. Yet, he admits it wasn't dangerous. This contrasts sharply with Anthony Joshua's focus and seriousness. While Paul treats the situation as entertainment, Joshua is preparing for battle, fully aware that every action in the ring has consequences. Smith's reaction underlines the absurdity of Paul's theatrics. Joshua remains calm, composed, and ready to exploit every misstep Paul makes. The laughable antics only emphasize Joshua's professionalism and mental strength, showing that in the real fight, it is the champion's discipline and power that will define the outcome.
He's torturing him all the way through. I keep saying it. I've thought about it. I'm like, you know what, AJ shouldn't let this.
Eddie Hearn makes it clear that Jake Paul has no chance of being competitive against Anthony Joshua. Joshua approaches the fight with the seriousness of a world title contender, not allowing any distractions to affect his preparation. Paul might believe his antics give him leverage, but Hearn emphasizes the reality gap between a trained heavyweight and a social media fighter. Joshua's preparation is meticulous and precise, and he treats every scenario with focus and strategy. Paul's overconfidence will meet the full force of Joshua's experience and power, proving that in the ring, discipline and skill always outweigh theatrics.
I'm not going to lie, when it happens, I laughed my head off. I absolutely laughed my head off.
I did too.
I thought it was quite poetic. I thought what happened was...
Duke McKenzie highlights how Anthony Joshua's evolution makes him even more dangerous against Jake Paul. With a few new moves and a refined jab, Joshua becomes an entirely different fighter. combining power, speed, and technique in ways Paul cannot anticipate. Mackenzie points out that we haven't seen this side of Joshua in a while, showing the level of preparation and innovation he brings to the fight. Paul's lack of experience and over-reliance on spectacle leave him vulnerable. Joshua's adaptability and skill ensure that any hope Paul has is crushed before the bell rings, emphasizing the massive gap between a pro and a pretender.
World where Jake Paul is competitive in the fight, let alone win the fight. But luckily, AJ's not preparing in a way that he just thinks it's a joke. He's preparing for Jake Paul like he's a world title contender.
Carl Fruck exposes the stark mismatch between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. AJ is a big punching heavyweight with skill, power, and experience at the highest level. While Paul has never faced a true heavyweight and has already lost to a cruiserweight far below Joshua's class, Fruck emphasizes that Paul cannot be taken seriously in this fight. Joshua's combination of size, power, and elite technique makes the challenge insurmountable for Paul. The commentary highlights how amateur mistakes and overconfidence will be punished relentlessly. Anthony Joshua's dominance is inevitable and the fight will be a demonstration of why he belongs at the top.
AJ's only got to add a few new moves to his game and get his jab working, then we're looking at a completely different fighter, because we haven't seen that from AJ for quite some time.
Carl Fruck exposes the stark mismatch between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. AJ is a big punching heavyweight with skill, power, and experience at the highest level. While Paul has never faced a true heavyweight and has already lost to a cruiserweight far below Joshua's class, Fruck emphasizes that Paul cannot be taken seriously in this fight. Joshua's combination of size, power, and elite technique makes the challenge insurmountable for Paul. The commentary highlights how amateur mistakes and overconfidence will be punished relentlessly. Anthony Joshua's dominance is inevitable and the fight will be a demonstration of why he belongs at the